Hello everyone, welcome to Web Technology Lab session. In this video, we will be discussing about exercise 3, responsive web design using HTML and CSS programming. Let's start with the objective of this exercise. You have to develop a web page using HTML5 tags and you are going to apply styles to your web page content using cascading style sheet, which is called as CSS. Using CSS, you can able to apply various styles and you can able to change the alignment. You can able to organize the content inside a web page. Basically, CSS is used to define styles for your web page, right? So you are going to use the CSS style concept and you are going to design a web page more attractive than the normal HTML program. So here you'll be studying about what is a basic structure of a CSS code, and you'll be studying how to apply CSS code in HTML program, and you'll be studying how to style various elements in HTML program. And by using this, you have to design a web page like this. So here you can see the sample web page layout. So if you look at this sample web page layout, so you can design a header box where you can display the header content, and you can display a banner image, and to display some text paragraph you can properly align it with the spacing and all. And you have to design image gallery by using background properties, and you have to display the text label, as well as you have to display both text and image in the same horizontal box. So for this design, we need to apply a CSS properties. Let's start with the introduction about CSS. So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. It is used for styling your web page content. So how we can style the web page content? Here we have a concept called CSS rules. So we have to write a CSS properties to style your web page content. So how to write CSS properties? So there is a rule called CSS rules. So the CSS rules you can write by using a selector. First we need to write a selector. Then we have to write property, then value. For example, here I have a paragraph. If I want to style this paragraph, first we can select the paragraph. So here the P tag is a selector. Then we can write CSS code. For example, color, font size and width. Now let's see how we can include CSS code in HTML program. So this is a way we can include a CSS code in HTML program. So we need to include a style tag. So using style tag, we have to include CSS code or CSS properties inside the HTML program, right? And before that, to make your website more responsive, we have to include this meta tag also. The meta tag is mandatory for making your HTML program more responsive. Now let's see one program, how we can create a HTML program and how to include CSS code inside HTML code. So I'm going to use VS Code editor. So here I'm going to create a sample program, sample.html. So now let's start with the HTML code by using a doc type. You have to start with the HTML tag. Inside HTML tag, we can write head tag. Inside head tag, we can include title for the web page. For example, my web page. And to make it responsive, we can include the meta tag. So meta tag is a singleton tag. We have to write some attributes. So name of the attribute is viewport, and the value for this viewport is content equal to width equal to device width. So this is for making the website responsive across the devices, right. So this is actually mandatory for making the website more responsive across laptop and mobile phone devices. So based on the screen width, the content will be self-adjusted. Okay. So next we can write some content by using body tag. So body tag is another section we have to write. So inside body tag we can write some content. For example, let's save this program. We can write some content. For example, I want to display a header box, right? I want to create one header, one title. So we can start with the div tag. So inside div tag, we can write the content, right? So in the content is like welcome to my web page, right? So this is the content I'm writing, right? So now let's see the output. To run this, you can click run button, right? So now the output is open in the browser. Here you can see. So this is output. So whatever we have written in the body section, welcome to my web page, it's coming here, right? So by default, the content is coming in the left side and the default color of the text is black color, right? So if you want to change the color of the text or the alignment, where you want to keep the text, where you want to display or background color. So for those things, you have to go for CSS styling, right? So let's start with how we can write CSS styling. So to write CSS styling, so first we need to include the style tag. So inside HTML, so you have to use style tag. Now we have to go for selector. So selector is a very important concept in CSS. First we need to find the element where you want to apply CSS styling, right? So here we have a div element. So you want to apply, I want to apply a CSS style inside for this particular div element, right? So I need to select the div element first. Then we have to write the block of code for writing the CSS properties, okay? So now let's write some CSS properties. For example, I want to change the color to blue color. So we can write like this, color colon blue, right? So now I have saved the program and come to this output. I'll open the browser again. We have to reload the page. So when you reload the page, you can see the color of the text is changed to welcome to my web page, right? Right, so this is one style we can apply. Another style is by default the text is coming in the left side of the window. So if we want to bring it to the center of the window, we can write another property. For example, text align equal to center, right? So now this text align property makes the text content, it brings the content to the center of the page, right? So like this only we have to include the CSS properties inside your HTML program. Now let's talk about, okay, so next we'll discuss about basic CSS selectors. So basically CSS selectors used for finding the HTML element before applying any styles to the particular content, okay? So first one is we have a element selector. So element selector is actually like nothing but a tag selector. For example, in the previous example, we have used div tag, right? So div, then we are writing the CSS code, right? So here we are selecting the content using the element name. So element name is div tag, so also called as the tag name. So right, so if you want to select using tag name, we can use element selector, and also we can use id selector also. So let's see how we can use id selector here. So ID is nothing but a attribute of HTML code, HTML tag. For example, for this div tag, I can give a unique ID for this particular div tag. For example, header, I'll give as a header. So this ID, by using this ID, we can uniquely identify this particular content, right? So if I want to write CSS style using this ID property like ID selector, so we have to use a symbol called hash symbol. Then we have to use the ID name. Okay, so hash ID. What is ID name? We have given in this HTML code. Okay, so using that we can select a particular tag and we can able to style it. Okay, so I have saved the program. Now let's see the output here. I'll reload that. It's applied. Okay, so it's actually same thing is coming, right? Here what we are going to understand is we can also select the element by using ID selector. Okay, so like this we have to use ID attribute, then use hash symbol, then the ID name. Okay, the same way we have another type called class selector. Class is also similar to a ID attribute. So in HTML we can use class attribute. So if you use class attribute, we can use the class name as a selector for applying styles. So when you are using class selector, we have to use dot operator to select a particular class. So for example, here I have a ID, right? So instead of ID, I'll change it to class. Okay, I'll change it to class. So class and ID both are same, but there is one difference is ID is unique for a particular element, but class is not like that. You can have a multiple class in one element also. but ID should be unique to a particular element. Okay. So if I am using a class selector, now if I save the program and if I run the program, now the styling is not applied. Why? Because the ID selector you have to access by using dot operator, not the hash operator. So we have to replace the hash symbol by using the dot operator. Okay. So you have to use dot header so that we can able to apply the change styles. Okay. Now I'll save the program. I'll reload the page. So when I reload the page, again the style is applied. Okay. So this is one way of doing it. Like class selector, we can also use ID selector or we can use the element selector. Okay. Right. So the next we have a universal selector. So universal selector is to select all the elements in the HTML program. If you want to select all the elements, we can use universal selector. So now let's talk about various CSS properties. Let's start with the text, how we can style the text. Okay. So we have just now we discussed about color, right? So how to apply change a color colon, some color we can pass. Okay. Similarly, we can write text decoration, we can write text alignment, that also we have discussed. Okay. Let's try text decoration. Okay. So in text decoration means, suppose if you want to provide underline or overline to the text, we can use text decoration. Okay. So currently there is no underline, there is no overline, right? So if I want to provide underline, we can use text decoration is equal to underline. So this will be getting a underline to the text. Here you can see that the underline to the text you will be getting. So if I change that to overline, there is another proper value called overline also. So you'll be getting the line you'll be coming, you'll be getting as a overline. Okay. Right. So here now look at this, compare this. Since I'm using a text decoration overline, I'm getting the line over the text. Okay. Suppose if you want to remove that, you can apply none also, or you can remove this properties. Okay. By applying none, you can able to change that. Okay. If I use none, right, but of course this property is not needed. If I am using none, by default it is none only, so it's not needed, right? So you'll be getting that the line will be removed. Okay. So this is about text properties. Similarly, we can use font size, font family, font style and all. Let's see how we can change the font size and all. Right. Let's go to that code. So here by default I'm getting this font, right? If I want to change the font, we can use font family, we can apply, and here we can give the font name. For example, I'll put as Arial font. So Arial font is look like this. By default Times New Roman, and now when I change it, it's coming Arial font, right? Now if I want to change the font size, we can use font size. For example, 50 pixel I want to change. Okay. Right. So in zoom level, this is a text, this is a default text. Now if I reload this page, now look at this, the text size is increased, right? So based on this font size property, the text style size is changed. So this is about how to apply font size. Similarly, we can make it bold also. We can make the text to bold. So for that, we have to use font weight, font hyphen weight equal to bold. Okay. So this will change the text to bold. Now look at this, the bold text you'll be getting. Okay. Right now, so these are actually various font properties. Similarly, we can apply font style also. Font style can be italic. We can use normal or italic, we can apply. So for example, when I reload that, you can see the italic font. Okay. So these are the various font styles. So next we'll see how we can set background colors. Okay. How to set the background color of a content. Okay. So currently by default, the background color is white. If you can see this page, the default background is white. Okay. So if I want to change the background of this particular div section background, if I want to change, we can use background properties. So we can use background color equal to some color we can apply, yellow, right? So now up. I have applied yellow color, so you'll be getting the content like this, yellow color background. Okay, so now see that the background color starts from the left end of the window and till the right end of the window, right? So why it is happening is there are two types of HTML element is there. One is inline element, the next one is block level element, block elements. Okay, so this block level elements will be displayed in a stacked order. So stacked order means vertical. Okay, the elements will be placed vertically in website. Okay, in the web page. So in one row only one element will be there, the next element will be coming in the next row. Okay, for example, right, for example, if I copy this particular div element one more time, okay, one more time, you can see that difference. Look at this, to welcome to my web page is coming, and both are coming vertically. Okay, both are coming vertically, right? So why I'm including this two times is just to understand block level element, right? And similarly, block level element occupy the entire screen width, but inline element not like that. Inline element will be occupying only the content. As per the content, the background space will be occupied. Okay, so this is about why this color is occupied in the entire screen width. So let's remove this, the second div section, right? So this is how we have to apply the background color. Okay, so we can apply different color also. For example, let's try blue color. Okay, so when I apply blue color, nothing is visible. Why? Because the text is also blue. Look at this text color, text color is also blue. So we have to give it as contrast color, right? So let's try white. So text color we can give it as white, right? So now look at this, welcome to my web page, we are getting as a white color, right? So like this we can apply a background color. The next property we are going to discuss about is width and height. We can also set width and height. So by default the width of the div element is 100%. 100% means the full screen width it will occupy. Okay, so if you want to reduce that, we can specify in terms of pixels or percentage. Okay, let's try that. For example, width I want to specify 200 pixel. Okay, I want to specify 200 pixel. Let's try 200 pixel. Reload the page. When I reload the page, 200 pixel is occupying this much only. Okay, but we need to give more, right? Otherwise the content is actually overflowing and content is coming vertically also. Okay, so we have to adjust this, and at least we have to try 500 pixel. Okay, let's try 500 pixel. Right now it's coming like this. So 500 pixel width is coming, right? So this is in 100%. Okay, and 500 pixel is also not enough, we have to give 700 pixel. Okay, why this many pixel is needed is, here look at the font size. Font size is actually we have given 50 pixel, that is why the problem is coming. Okay, so let's try to reduce it 20 pixel. So when I reduce it 20 pixel, yes, 500 is actually more than enough, right? So here you can see 500 pixel is enough, or 400 itself enough. Okay, right? So like this you'll be getting, you can change the width also. Okay, so this is one way of changing the width. Another way of changing the width is we can use percentage also. We can use percentage. For example, 50 percentage of the screen width I want. Okay, so we can use 50 percentage. Here you can look at this, the screen width, based on the screen width. If I reduce the screen width, 50 percentage will be occupied this particular content. Okay, so 50 percentage of the page will be occupied by this div element, right? So like this we can give a 25 percentage or 30 percentage, any percentage we can give. Okay, so this is a recommended way of giving a width. So in terms of percentage, so it will be more responsive as per the that website, uh, the screen size. Okay, as per the window size, how much we are adjusting. Okay, so if I'm adjusting like this, total 100 percentage divide 50%, so exactly center. Okay, right? So like this we can able to give the width of the particular div element. Okay, the next we are going to discuss about is background image. Okay, So before that, let's try this width as 100%. Okay, I'll just put as 100%, so it look like this. Okay. Now let's quickly we discuss background properties. So in background we can set background image. When you set background image, the image will be repeated in the background. The one image will be setting one image, right? So one image will be repeated. So to control repetition, we can use repeat. And the size of the background image we can control using background hyphen size, and position we can control using position. Okay. So to discuss this particular background image, we'll take one more div box. Okay, one more div element we'll take. So this div element I'm going to demonstrate for background properties. Okay, so let's assume that the class name is box. So we can select this box by using dot box. Now I want to give background properties. Okay, background image, I want to set a background image, right? So first, if you want to set background image, first you need to give a width and height. You have to give a width and height for the box. Okay, for example, I have a box here. I have to give width and height. Okay, so width we can give any width. For example, let it be 400 pixel. Okay, and height we have to adjust, let it be 300 pixel, otherwise 400 pixel. Okay, so now when I save the program, when I save it and when I reload the page, nothing is visible, right? So if you want to see the border of that particular box, if I want to see the border of the particular box, we have to discuss about box model properties. Okay, box model properties, right? So in CSS, every block level element follows a box model properties. That box model property we can see in the browser itself. For example, I'll show you this box model in the browser itself. Okay, so for example, look at this browser. If I right click, there is an option called inspect element. Inspect. If I right click, inspect, in any website you can see that. Okay, so you can see in the right side you'll be getting elements, right? You can see all the elements of this particular page. So what are the elements? You can see the elements like HTML is one of the element, head is another element. Okay, head is an title is an element, meta tag is element, and body is element. When I keep the mouse over the body, see entire document is selected. Look at this, the color, the entire document is getting selected. Here you can see orange color is the margin of the whole page. Okay, orange color is the margin of the whole page. And if I select the particular first header box, look at this header box, it is actually highlighting this box, right? Similarly, here we have a box, right? So this box also available here, we can see that. Okay, so here in this box there is a very important concept called, for example, if I select this particular header, this particular box. Okay, so and if I just scroll this, here look at this. A very interesting concept is you can see all the CSS properties whatever we have applied, it is available in the browser. Okay, right? We can able to explore it, right? When we explore, we can understand that the color is applied white, and the text color is white, and the text alignment is center, and all the style property we can see. Okay, and when you scroll down, you can see a picture called box model. This is called box model. Okay, in this box model there are four concepts. One is content. For example, the inner box is called content. For example, if I keep the mouse inside the inner box, now look at that, that content is selected, right? When I keep the mouse over this inner box, you can see that in the left side the content is selected, and the space around the border, space between the content, look at the box, the space, I'll just zoom it. The space between the content and the border is called padding. Okay, so there is currently we didn't give any padding, right? So this space is called padding, and we have a border also, right? So border is actually the line around the text. It's called as, or around the content. Okay, line around the content is called as border. We can draw a border if you want. You can draw a border also. Similarly, margin. So what is margin is? Margin is like the space around the div element. Space around the div box is called margin. Okay, so this is what box model. Now let's try to understand how to apply border. Okay, just we have discussed box model properties, and one more thing, when you discuss when you take a box model, every box means what, there are four sides, right? So four sides, so every side margin is there, border is there, padding is there, right? So based on the side we can say margin top and margin left, margin right, margin bottom. Similarly, padding left, padding bottom, padding top, and padding right. Okay, so these are actually CSS properties by which we can able to control these spaces. Okay, you'll see the examples also. As I already told, content is nothing but that content. Padding is a space between the content and the border. Border is a space between the padding and the margin. Margin is an empty space between element and adjacent element. Okay, right. So first we are going to talk about borders. Okay, so how to apply border. So border has a thickness and color and the style of the border, right? So for example, solid line we can draw. We can also draw a dashed line or dotted line. We can also draw so many lines, right? And every line has a thickness also, right? So we can use a width is called as thickness, and style is called as the dashed, dotted, so many types. Color we can apply. So how to use that style properties? Border colon 1 pixel is a thickness, and followed by the style, followed by the color. Okay, now let's try this in this particular box. I want to see the box, right? For example, look at that. Look at this output in the web page. I am not able to see the box. This particular box I am not able to see. Okay, so I want to see the box, so we can apply border 1 pixel. Okay, solid. Okay, so we can give a color. For example, black color. I'm going to give the border line. Okay, so 1 pixel is a less thickness value. We can give it as 3 pixels, so that we can able to see that. Okay, we can able to see the border. Okay, or we can give a 4 pixel. Okay, let's try. Just for understanding, I'm giving 4 pixel. Now look at this. Now the box is coming here. Here you can see the box is coming, right? So just to understand that, I'm just putting 4 pixel. We can keep 2 pixel is enough. Now look at this. This is a box. Can you see that? This is a box. Now in this box actually having a width as 400 pixel and 400 pixel. Okay, you got it. So this box I can keep it. I can move the box to right side or left side or bottom. For example, this box I can give left side some gap we can give, right? What is that gap? Is called as, the gap is called as margin, right? Just now we discussed about the box model properties, right? Now let's see how to set margin also. Okay, so this way we can set the border, and we can also set margin properties here. Margin means the space between the element. We have two boxes, so the what's the space between the two boxes is called margin in four sides. Okay, margin bottom is there, left is there. Okay, top is there. For example, look at this. The second box, box 2, is actually shifted to right side because we have given a margin left 100 pixel. So the box moved to the right side. Okay. Similarly, in the top we have a small gap, right? Since we have given 10 pixel margin bottom for box 1. For box 1 we have given margin bottom 10 pixel. Okay, so the same thing we can apply here, because I want to move this box little right side. So what we can do is we can apply the margin left, like little right side. I want to move 50 pixel, I'll give. Okay, so when I give 50 pixel, now look at this, box is moving right side. Okay, and if I give 100 pixel, the box will move again, it will move to the right side. See, the box is getting moved, right? Like this, we can give more pixel also. For example, 200 pixel. If I give 200 pixel, the box is coming in this location. Okay, and then similarly in the top also there is no gap, right? So in the top, if I want to keep some gap, we can put margin top. Okay, some 20 pixel I'll give. So I'll get a square box like this. Okay, So this is how we can work with the box model properties. So anywhere you can place the div element and you can put the content. Okay. So this is about box model properties. Margin, we have discussed about margin top, margin left also. Okay. Now let's see. Let's go back to the topic called background properties. How to set the background image. Okay. Look at this background, this property only we were talking about, right? So now let's see how to set background image and how to set these properties also. Okay. So here we have a box. Inside I want to keep one image or one picture. Okay. We can use image tag. That is one way. Image tag is not recommended in CSS. In CSS we have to go for background image properties. Okay. So let's try that background image. So I have a image. Here I have some images. Car image I have. Okay. Right. So this is a car image and we have a bird image is there. Right. So let's take this bird image, bird.png I have stored in the program directory. So let's try how to apply background image. Okay. So let's try start with the background hyphen URL. Inside URL, okay, we can give the path, the location of the image. Okay. So there is a URL function you have to apply. Inside URL function you have to give the file name or the location of the file. Okay. So now when I save it, the image comes inside the box. Look at the image is coming inside the box. Okay. But the full image I am not able to see because the image resolution is more than that the particular dimension. Okay. I have given 200 comma 200, right? So the image size is actually more than that particular the div element. Okay. It's not able to see. Okay. So we can reduce the image size. Let's try to reduce the image size. For example, let it be 50 pixel. 50 pixel. Okay. To reduce image size we have to use background hyphen size 50 pixel comma 50 pixel. Okay. So now let's try that. Now look at this. When I reduce the image size to 50 pixel width, 50 pixel height, I can able to see the full image inside the box. The full image inside the box. Now here you can understand the image is getting repeated in horizontally as well as vertically, right? Okay. So if you want to stop this, if you want to control this repetition, we can use one more property called background repeat. Okay, background repeat. So here we can use no repeat. If you don't want to repeat, you can use no repeat. Now if I use no repeat, now look at this, the image is coming, only one image will be coming, but the size is 50 pixel, 50 pixels. So that's why the image is coming only in the corner of the box. Okay. So if I want to increase that image, for example, let it be 200. Okay. Not okay, let it be 200 pixel, 200 pixel. Okay. So the image size getting increased. Now let's talk about position. Okay. There is one more property called background position. Okay. Position of the image. Okay. For example, now it is in the left top corner, right? The image is coming in left top corner, right? So that is a by default location, right? So if I want to change that, I have to use background hyphen position. Now in background hyphen position we can change to anywhere we can change it. For example, if we can change this image to the right side. If I want to change the right side, we can put right. Okay. Just put right. Okay. The image go to the right, but it will go to the center, middle right. It is not top right. Okay. So if you want to bring it to the top right, we have to attach top. Okay. Right top. So now the image come to this particular top. Okay. Similarly, center if you want to keep. Similarly, bottom also we can keep. If we try bottom, the image comes to the bottom of that div element. Okay. So like this you can position anywhere. We can also try in center also. Okay. For example, we can try this center. Now it look like this. Okay. But here the problem is the image is not able to span the entire across the entire particular div element, right? So not to span the entire element, there is a one more value called cover. We can use a value called cover. So cover value we can give it to the size. Okay, so instead of this 200 pixel we can apply cover. So cover means the entire space will be covered by the background image. Okay, so now when I reload the page, now we can see the exact image inside the div element, right? So how it is possible? Because the background size cover will maximize the image, will it will adjust the image so that we can see the image properly inside the available space. Okay, so now that's all about the background image. Now the box size is only 400 pixel, 400 pixel. Look at the width of the box, 400 pixel, and height is 400 pixel, right? So this box we can reduce that, we can increase the width also. Okay, for example, look at this. Okay, this much only, right? So now let's try to increase the width. So I'll increase the width to 800 pixel. Okay, so now I'll put 800 pixel. Now it look like this. Okay, so if I want full size banner image, okay, what you can do is just give 100 percentage. Okay, 100 percentage. But of course, you have to remember this 100 percentage by default it is 100 percentage only. Even if you delete this width, you'll be getting 100 percentage. Okay. So now look at this, you'll be getting 100 percentage width. But here some gap is coming, right? Why it is coming? Because of this margin. Because of this margin, we are getting a gap, right? So when I remove that margin left, I have commented, right? So in CSS, we can comment using slash star and star slash. Okay, you have to press control slash. Just to select that code, press control slash so that that code will be commented, right? So now look at this. When I change that, it's look like a banner image, right? But similarly, if I just zoom it, here you can see some gap, and here also some gap is there, right? This gap is coming because of this margin top. Okay, so this gap is coming because of this margin top, right? So if I want to remove that, so now I'll reload it. Now look at that, the image is actually, there is no gap between welcome to my web page and the image, image banner, right? But still there is a gap before this image, the left side and the right side, and here also we have a gap, right? So that gap is called default margin for the entire HTML document. Okay, so that default margin we can remove it by using universal selector. Okay, by using a universal selector we can apply. For example, universal selector is called as star, and we inside we can change the margin to, initially we can keep it as 0 pixel. Okay, so when you start designing a web page, by first step is you have to keep all the margin to 0 pixel so that you won't get this gap. Okay, now if I reload the page, now look at that, there is no gap. Okay, so it's coming continuously, it's coming. And this that particular black color line, right, that is called border line, right? So the border line also we can remove it. Okay, border line is not required since we have applied the image, background image border. We can comment it. Now look at this, look like this. Okay, we have a title box and the banner image, right? So this is how we can create a banner image. And now let's keep it 100 percentage zoom level, so it look like this, right? So let's try 500 pixel. So height we have to adjust as per the image quality. Okay, so if there is a big image, so you have to give as per the image quality, we have to give the height. Okay, similarly that this header box height also we can adjust. Just go here and we can adjust the height. We can adjust height like this. For example, 70 pixel I'll put, right? So when I put 70 pixel, it's coming like this. But the text is coming in the top, right? So to bring it to middle, we can change one more height called line height. Okay, we can change it to line height, right? So line height should be equivalent to that height of the box. Okay, so if we put line height, the text height also equivalent to 70 pixels, so the text will come to the center of the header. Okay, and font size, if we want, you can increase the font size to 40 something. Okay, I'll just increase it. So now it look like this. Welcome to my web page and banner image, something like this, right? So this is how you have to design, you have to apply the background properties. So we have discussed the width and height of the box and CSS box model we discussed. Next, coming to the padding. So we have to also understand, we need to understand padding also. Okay. So padding is a space between the content and the border. So now to understand the padding, we'll create one more div element. Okay. Okay. So inside div element, we'll create one, we'll put some content. I'm going to put some paragraph or inside this div element. Okay. Inside this div element, I'm going to put paragraph. So paragraph, we can take it from here. Okay. Now look at this. I have used one div content. Here we'll put some uh, selector, ID selector. We'll try ID selector. Let it be box. This box I want to select here. Okay. So how to select box hash? Okay. You have to use hash box. Now inside we can write some CSS tag. Okay. So let's go to the output. So just put 300. Okay. So now look at this. This is a box, and this box paragraph is there. Now the box, this box also we can give a background color. We can set background color. So now to set background color, first we need to give a height. So let's try 300 pixel. Let's try background color, pink color, some color we can apply. Otherwise, we can remove this height. So height will be automatically calculated. Okay. So height will be automatically calculated. Now look at this. As per the content, the height will be automatically calculated, right? So now look at this content. First, we need to align this content properly. So for alignment, we can use text align, text align called to justify. Okay, so there is alignment called justify, especially for the paragraph. You can use it for paragraph, so that when you reload this, you can see the justify alignment. Okay, so here the what's the concept you have to understand is, if you see that content, it is not readable much, right? For example, it is going extreme end of the web page. Okay, it's starting from the extreme left side and it is going extreme right side, not able readable, right? So we need to give some gap, we need to give some space between the content and the border of the box. Okay, so that space is called padding. Okay, that space is called padding. So we can apply padding here. So just apply padding. Okay, you can give padding is 20 pixel. Let's try 20 pixel. Right, so when I give it 20 pixel, look at this, we are getting a gap. Okay, so this is what padding. Okay, so in padding also we can apply padding left, padding right, padding top we can apply. So this is about padding. So next we will move on to the next topic. So next, last one, finally coming to the another concept called float. Okay, so float property is actually very useful when you design a web content. Sometimes when you want to create a div element and you want to keep the div element side by side. Okay, horizontally you want to keep. For example, I want to keep three div box or four div box in one line. Okay, so it is not possible by default. Okay, by default all the boxes coming in vertically order. So in that case we have to go for this float property. Okay, so float property takes a value left or right. We can float to left side or right side. Okay, so how to use this float? Just use float colon left. Okay, so that box will be coming in the in one line. All the box will be coming in one line wherever you are using float left. Okay, so we can able to arrange the box in one line. Okay, side by side we can keep like one box, another box, another box. Okay, now let's try one example how to keep this, how to understand this float. So for that I'll create four boxes. Okay, I'll create four div sections. This is section 1. Okay, similarly I'll create four sections. For every section I'm going to give a class. Okay, s1, and similarly here also I'm going to give s2, because I want to write different styles for these sections. Okay, this is S3 and this is S4. Okay, so section 2, section 3, section 4. Okay, now I want to keep this 4 box side by side in one line. I want to keep it in one line, right? So let's try how we can write some code. Okay, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to write common properties. For example, I want to give a equal size for these boxes, equal size. So I want to write some common property. So we can select S1 comma S. We can select multiple boxes like this comma dot S3 comma dot S4. All the boxes we can select like this. Okay, in one line we can select everything. So first we can give a width. Okay, we can give a width, right? So I want to give a different color for different background color for every box, right? So first start with the S1. So we'll give a background color, it's blue. Similarly, we'll copy this. This will copy this particular code and we'll place it 4 times. Okay, S2, right? So now we'll give a red color for this box and yellow color for this box, magenta color. Okay, try magenta color, right? So now look at this. When I select S1, S2, S3, this is a common properties. I want equal size box, so common property we can apply. Then I want to give a different color, so we can able to select everything independently and apply different colors. Okay, so now let's see the output here. See, look at this. The page here you'll be getting like this, right? So section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4. So in every section we can put some content. Okay, now look at this. By default, all the, since it is a block level element, the div section is a block level element, right? So that's why it is coming vertically, right, in a stacked order. So it's coming vertically. Say if I want to float like this, if I want to float every box like this, I want to take the red color box, I want to float left. I want to take the yellow color box, I want to float left. I want to take the pink magenta color, I want to float left. Okay, I want to float left side. Okay, so for that only we have to use float property. Okay, so I need to use float property, float property in every box. Okay, so what you can do is, since it is a every box, we can apply in all the 4 box I want to float, right? So we can put it in the common section, right? Because anyway I have selected 4 box here, so we can float all the box. Now look at this. After floating, now look at this. After floating, all the boxes coming like this, right? Section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4. So this is the advantage of floating property, right? So you can float to left side or right side, we can float. If I give right, all the box will move to the right side. Okay, so now I will give some more space also. Like for example, instead of 200 pixel, we'll give 300 pixel, 300 pixel. Okay, now look at this. We are getting like this. Okay, now when I give 300 pixel, 300 pixel height, width 300 pixel, I am not able to place this box here. When you are floating the box, you have to divide this width equally, so that you can avoid this empty space here. Okay, in the right side, empty space you can avoid. So how we can divide equally? Okay, so in the beginning I told you that the device width is actually 100 percentage, right? So 100 percentage we can divide by using by 4 div box, right? So how we can divide 100 percentage? 25 percentage, 25 percentage we can divide. So let's try 25 percentage for every box. Okay, so if I put 25 percentage for this every box, okay, so now look at this. Every box is having 25 percentage width. So now look at this. Now it is responsive. What is responsive? When I change the screen width, okay, when I change the screen width also, the box is getting self adjusted. Since it is 25 percentage, the box is getting self adjusted. Okay, and everything is responsive, right? Look at this. Image is responsive, everything is responsive. This is what responsiveness you need to understand. Okay, so now instead of color, instead of this colors, we can also put some image also. You know how to put the image like this, right? So like this also we can put images. Okay, so it's very simple. Just you have to use that background image property. I can put one image here, another image here, another image, another image, four image I can keep. Or not only images, any content we can include in that particular section. Okay. So for example, let's try some images. Like for example, where is the image code? This is the image code, right? Now we have to copy the entire code. First, I'll go to this first box. I'll put the image, the same bird image I'll put. Now look at that. When I save it, that image is coming here. Okay, right? Similarly, if I put here, okay, I have another image, car. Okay, I'll put car image. So when I put car image, okay, so the car image is coming here. The same way we can do it like this. We can put this code here also. So coffee image is there. So we can put coffee image. So here we can put coffee image. Right now, look at this. I have placed only three images. Just I have left out blank. This is actually we can include anything, right? Just for your understanding. Okay. So this particular pink color can be replaced by some other image or some other content. Okay. So like this, we can place div section side by side. Okay. So this is actually a concept called float property. So float left. Then last one is called opacity. We can also change the opacity of the content. Opacity means the visibility of the content. Okay, so opacity specify the visibility of the content, how much it is transparent or how much it is visualized. Okay, so here the opacity range is 0.0 to 1. Okay, 1 means highly, that image is highly visible. 0 means fully transparent, we cannot see the image. Okay, zero point 0.5 means off transparent. Okay, so now let's try this opacity in this image. Okay, for example, let's opacity as 0.5. Okay, I'll put 0.5 as opacity. Okay, so when I put 0.5, look at this, slightly only we can able to see. Okay, similarly, like I want to change the opacity of this particular coffee. Okay, so we can change opacity to coffee image, opacity to 0.5. Okay, so 0.5 I have placed, right? So 0.5 means like partially only we can visible, right? Image is not fully visible. Okay, so we can also give 3 also, we can give zero point 0.3. So now look at this, coffee is not at all, not visible clearly. Okay, so like this we can apply in the banner image also. Wherever you want, you can apply. Not only here, we can apply to this particular content also, we can apply opacity. Okay, so this is about opacity property, right? So this is a difference. This opacity 1 means this one, clear high. By default thing is opacity 1, default visibility is opacity 1, and if we change it, you'll be getting like this. Okay, now let's go to the last topic. There is a one concept called hover effect. Okay, when you keep the mouse over the content, we can change the opacity level, or we can change, do something, some kind of changes we can perform. Okay, so for that we have to apply hover effect. So let's see how to apply hover effect. For example, here I have set opacity to 0.5, right? So now here I'm going to write dot s1 hover effect. Hover effect you can use like this. How to write? The selector dot s1 colon hover. Okay, if I hover it, if I hover over the particular image, I want to change the opacity to 1, 1.0. Okay, so now by default I have set as 0.5. When I hover it, I'm changing to 1.0. Okay, so now see the difference. Now when I keep the mouse over this particular image, look at this, it is changing, right? So this is called hover effect. When I keep that mouse, we can do some modification. Okay, here, and I'm going to apply here also. Okay, so same thing, we can copy and paste near to this for understanding. Okay, so just change this to s3. Okay, dot s3 colon hover, opacity is 1. Okay, so when you use opacity 1, you'll get the fully visible image. Okay, see, now it is fully visible. Okay, so when I keep the mouse over that, you can change it. Okay, so this you can do it for all images also. Okay, for this car image also we can do it. Okay, not doing it for car image, you should understand the difference. This is opacity is applied, this is also opacity is applied. Okay, similarly opacity can be applied to anywhere. For example, here not only opacity, the hover effect you can apply to not only images, you can apply to this text also. For example, by default the text is here is color is white and the background color is blue. If I want to, when I keep the mouse over this particular box, if I want to change it, okay, we can write hover effect for the header. Okay, so header, actually first this particular welcome to my web page is created by header box, right? So header class, look at this header class. Okay, got it, right? So I have to write hover effect for this header, right? So header, how do you select? Colon header colon hover. Okay, so we can change the, currently background color is blue and the text color is white. Okay, so we can change the background color as some other color, text color is some other color. Okay, so we'll move on to some other color. Okay, let's try to change it to yellow and red. Okay, background color is yellow, I want to change the background color is to yellow, and I want to change the text color to red when I hover over it. Okay, so now I'll save it. So this will be happen. Okay, so now reload the page. Now look at this, when I keep the mouse over the particular header box, the yellow color background yellow color is applied, and the, I'll just zoom out. Okay, now look at this, uh, yellow color is applied and the text color is changed to red color. Okay, similarly here also the hover effect is applied. Okay, so that's all about that basic introduction about CSS to complete this exercise. So you have to use this CSS styling properties and you have to complete this exercise, and you have to design the expected design like this. Okay, and put some content, but the content is not exactly like this. You can use different content, and for any organization you can design a website. So that's all about the exercise 3, responsive web design using HTML and CSS. Thank you all.